All right. All right. Welcome back to another On Point podcast, which has been referred to as the most depressing podcast on the internet. I've also been called
But
a low rent kill stream, even though you go through my channel and you go back years and see that I've been streaming for quite a while, just under different names.
at least it's better than the NPR on point.
There we go. We got that too. So first off, I want to welcome probably what is quite a bit of new viewers. Um, Hopefully the show catches your interest. If not, no hard feelings. I realize you're here for the kill stream. And this first part here is mostly for viewers that have been here a while. I don't expect anybody new to really care about this, but I have reopened my Patreon for the stream, so I guess I have to take a moment to shill it because I never do that. So I need to learn how to do that a little bit better. So I've reopened Patreon. It's patreon.com/scratchpoint. We'll get through it really quick. I'm not the best at putting out like rewards and stuff like that because I feel like I want to give everybody the same experience and not really ever have anything like hidden behind a paywall. Like I can't imagine. I guess I know you're supposed to see yourself as sort of a product when you do this kind of thing, but I can't imagine like charging people to stream with me or something like that, or like what do some people do, like text messages or weird things like that. That's not who I am. Basically, it's just here as an optional thing. Nobody's obligated to donate, but anything is always appreciated, and will go towards improving the show and as by extension in improving my existence. So that's it for Patreon.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're good for that. Fundmylife.com. There we go. All right, so now we can move on, and I'll just check what we got the chat saying. NPR is the worst radio show. I subbed. Thank you, Danny. Sup, you're a good dude. I'll give you. Oh, thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. Merchant Point. There we go. I'm wringing my hands as we speak. I feel cheated, but I've got fuck all else to do, so I might as well listen while I'm here. All right, well, good to have you aboard while you're here. Thanks for not being like TRS. What is TRS? Maybe I'm not familiar with that. Good, that shit is whack. Yeah, I noticed like people, for example, like Shoe on Head and stuff like that, they'll charge you monthly to be in their Discord. And I can't imagine charging someone to be in a Discord or something like that. It's like anybody can just get on Twitter and send me a message or whatever. I'm not going to sit there and pretend I'm high and mighty and you have to pay me for my attention. That's just ridiculous. What do you think of Nick Gers? Should I know who that is? I feel a little bit silly. Maybe I don't. Is that a YouTube guy or is that a politician or I don't know. The Nazis are in DC. But yeah, I kind of wanted to. I know it's kind of been done to death at this point in the last few days, but I didn't really get to chime in. I didn't want to call into the kill stream while everything was going on because, it's not really my place. I don't want the guys to feel like they have to, put me on just because it's my channel. I know they would, and they don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying I didn't want to intrude. So I wanted to kind of chime in on the mundane Matt stuff. What do you guys think of all that? I saw some opinions there, in the chat, of course, but I'm just curious. I feel like Matt has kind of burned his bridges at this point. And here's the thing, like I never really had much against him. He's just kind of there, he's not really interesting, he's not really offensive. He's sort of somebody you could just go to if you want to zone out, I suppose. And it's a little strange that somebody that usually, goes for the freedom of speech thing is there behind the scenes kind of putting, oh, I understand. Ha. Well, isn't that a riot? Now I'm going to die of ligma. All right. So, yeah, Matt, it's an interesting situation because what I find the worst about it is that he was friends with Failure, which some of you guys probably know from Kumite, and that was like his income, from my understanding. And to go and flag it and cut that off and still pretend to be the guy's friend, that is, I think that's the worst part of all of what he did. Because I could at least understand, I completely disagree with it, but I could at least understand why you would flag somebody that you dislike and, that it's known that you dislike them. But to sit there and, pretend to be somebody's friend to their face and then be stabbing them in the back behind the scenes, that's just all kinds of messed up. And it's not just like this is a one-time thing. There's multiple instances were pulled up on the stream. There were some that we probably didn't see. And I think it's funny the way that it came out, because since back in April, Zintrax here went and collected these tweets. Since back in April, he's been denying doing this. First of all, back in May of 2015, he's sitting here complaining about the so-called SJWs flagging him. He talks about Zoe Quinn's false flag. And then he goes on to say, please do not flag videos or streams in my name. People can hold whatever opinion of me they want. Unless, of course, it's an opinion I don't like. Even if it is wrong or factually inaccurate. What do we got here? Wizard Cat subscribed. Okay, I don't know why that's popping up. I think I had that on all day. But seriously, false flagging is dumb. Don't do it. So he's here pretending that he's the good guy. He doesn't want anybody flagging his name. He's effectively blaming what you would call his fanboys, which I didn't really know he had any, but apparently he has a few, because there's one on Twitter right now that's kind of going off on somebody I follow, and apparently he is... he got caught doing a little something weird in the direct messages. I don't know if it's true because, screenshots can be doctored and whatnot, but if it is, he's probably getting himself in a little bit of trouble because of the age of the person that he was talking to. And he's on there threatening a lawsuit, so that's also funny just because of Matt's take on the Dick Masterson stuff. Scratch point, did you transfer money to Ralph, or did you change the credit card PayPal information? No, I don't. That's sort of a bit of a personal question, but I pay Ralph what I owe him. That's all I will say about that. Taking this kerosene off, Matt's cute, pretty stupid. Go off, King, dab on the soy. There we go. It's the hypocrisy that is the real bad part. I can at least have respect for somebody who is open about being a flaggot. Flaggot, I like that term. Not a fan of Failure, Tonka, and all, but they were screwed over. Yeah, look, whatever you think of the guys, it's not right to try to take away their income. Wait, Matt is going... No, Matt's not going to file a lawsuit. It's one of his followers that was vehemently defending him. Not Matt, so don't get it confused. It's just like a Twitter spat where a mundane Matt fan threatened somebody with a lawsuit. I thought it was funny. This all came out because he was accused of flagging the kill stream while it was going on. All the vids he flagged showed up, but did he actually flag the kill stream that night? So that's what's hard to say, because if you go back and you watch the stream, there's a moment where I believe it's Zidane brings up the fact that you can check your report history. That's where the stream goes dead silent for like a good 30 seconds to a minute. It's actually amazing when you listen to it, because you just know, you can tell that his heart just sank to his colon. Like, he just knows at that point that he's screwed and he doesn't know how to get out of it. And so they send him the link to check the report history, and everybody's checking their report history and showing how quick it takes to do it. I even did it here. Look, my hands are clean. I've never reported a channel. And so it's actually pretty crazy that he's sitting there pretending that he doesn't know how to do it. And oh, I'm reading this. I'm doing something in the background there. You gained like 3K subscribers in the last 2 days. Yeah, yeah. I don't expect to keep them all. It would be nice if some hung around, of course. I appreciate it. Either way, I do. I understand why they're here, and that's perfectly fine. So yeah, back to what I was saying. He's sitting there pretending he doesn't know how to do it. And what I think, and what some other people think, is that it's possible that he was retracting reports. So, or flags, I should say. So, I don't know how it works, seeing as how I've never done it, but some people were telling me that it is possible to retract your flag. Or he also has extensions where he can mess with the layout of the page. So it's possible that he completely deleted it from showing up. Yeah, the elements. There you go. So I think that's a big possibility. Considering it took him like 10 to 15 minutes to actually show his screen share, I would say he was messing with it. I mean, come on. There's no way. I hung around after the first time. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's what I think is going on. I find it a little bit ridiculous and just a little bit too coincidental that the stream would go down, right after that took place. Honestly, I named this stream the way that I did just because I don't want to deal with a potential flag while Killstream is here and, screw them over further since I'm, doing this to help them out. Get Andy on, get Ralph on. I don't have any access to Andy. I don't know if Ralph is around. He's idle. So I don't know if he's there. Get PewDiePie on. Are you just naming random e-celebrities now? Howdy Scratch. Hey Dongwave, what's up, man? Yeah, so the whole thing is just, I imagine it's a nightmare for Matt, and he did a really dick thing, I think, by trying to play the victim. So first it started out with pretending, well, maybe not pretending, but saying, oh, my daughter is getting threats now. Somebody threatened my kid. But, think about this. During the whole Gamergate thing, all the threats that, Anita, Brianna Wu, Zoe Quinn, all those people claim to be getting, most of this crowd was like, well, that's just the nature of being on the internet. None of these are credible, even if you're even getting them. So then how is it that in Matt's head he thinks that it's credible to sit there and say, oh, I'm getting a threat. You guys need to take this seriously. Like, what? Where's the logic? It's basically, it's okay to play the victim when I do it. Boring. Okay, well, I can't help you there. Think it would just be funny if he got caught flagging other videos while protesting over the video he didn't actually flag. Career suicide. Yeah, I think it would have been better if he just, owned up to it right from the start. Because hiding it just makes him look worse. People by threatening bad headspaces when you fill a jam jar to the top while canning. Same when bottling beer/wine. Yeah, I've heard the Tumblr community use terms like headspace. That victim card is classic female behavior. So I'll tell you what I really didn't like. What I really didn't like is later on when he tried to play the mental health card. I think that's messed up. All right, look, people struggle with different mental health issues. Maybe he is depressed. There are some signs that if you listen to some of the things he said before this happened, it's quite possible that he actually does struggle with some sort of depression. My issue comes in is when you try to use that as a shield and when you take out your personal issues on other people. Now, me personally, I have certain issues that I struggle with, but I think that I'm more of a self-destructive person. So if I'm in a bad place or bad headspace, as Matt likes to say, I'm more likely to do something that is harmful to myself. And I'm also kind of, cognizant of the fact that just because something is wrong with me or something's troubling me, you can't go and take that out on other people. So it doesn't matter if he's depressed in this context. It's not an excuse to do what he did. You can't throw that up. It's basically a way to make people feel sorry for you and deflect from the fact that you did something wrong. Exactly. Mental illness doesn't give a pass for scummy behavior. Some said Allsup was too nice, but I think his words and attitude really helped drive home the point to Matt. Well, I think what he said was really spot on, is that Matt doesn't seem like the kind of guy that expresses himself honestly. And we have a lot of evidence to support that, because you'll notice that, there's always these little snippets from the background that people end up leaking, where it seems like he actually gives a real opinion on somebody or something, but then kind of dials it back later on and, sorry, I let my attitude get the best of me, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, dude, you were just giving your real opinion. Why can't you have some form of emotion and anger or frustration and show it? He just, I guess, for lack of a better term, internalizes that and then takes it out on people behind the scenes, apparently, which I think is kind of messed up. All right, I'm going to go back up here and just look at what you guys are saying. Scratch Point is a good boy. Well, I try, at least. You okay, bud? I am perfectly fine. I'm good. Allsup is the definition of capitulation and concession. KYS Matt in Minecraft unironically. Does he have a medical diagnosis, or is he just self-diagnosed? So honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure. This is the first time that I've heard him mention that he was depressed. The other thing that I overheard in a video was he made some comment about YouTube burnout and how he just thought of driving. Okay. Sorry guys, my internet is actually having some trouble tonight. It says it reconnected, but I'm not sure. I was hoping it would be resolved before the stream, but since I already scheduled it before I realized the internet issues were happening, I had to do it. Pick scabs, get jabs. Kraut's behavior has become the norm in that community. He's borderline SJW, like Fat and Chris Ray Gun at this point. The interesting thing about these guys is that they always, criticism is basically their career, right? I mean, sharing their opinion on other people and what they're doing wrong is their career. And yet, whenever somebody, points out how they're wrong, they can't deal with it. Now, look, I'm not saying that every time somebody comes to you and says you're wrong, that you're actually wrong, because if that were the case, a lot of us would be automatically wrong a lot of the time, given some of the opinions we hold. But when you become absolutely unwilling, when you become so arrogant and driven by your ego and subscriber count that you just think you're so above these people and their criticisms, that's when you've gone too far. Matt looks broken in his new Ninja vid. So much for a few days off. Oh, did he actually post a video? Wow, I'm kind of surprised he did. We're actually going to talk later on. I'll go over the Ninja thing briefly. I thought it was really stupid. So, I mean, there's probably not much to say about it, but saw people talking about it across my feed, and I kind of wanted to go over that a little bit. He posted 3 or 4 today. Oh. Wow, I'm actually surprised. I guess he has to keep on trucking, right? Or whatever you want to call it. He's literally a nerd living out a power fantasy. Is YouTube really that much power, though? I'm always shocked when YouTubers get this inflated sense of self-worth. Like, all this can go away so easily. Shitting on Jarbo never gets old. He's pretending it never happened. Wow, so you guys think that he's just not going to put out any statement? And let's see what his videos are about. All right, we could do that. Let's go to the YouTube. Mundane Matt. I like how Mundane Matt Exposed is one of the first games. So you search Mundane Matt, and the first video that comes up is how Mundane Matt destroyed his career on YouTube. That's actually pretty hilarious. But let's see what he says. I can't stand his bio, by the way. I'm Mundane Matt. I has opinions and shit. Yeah, but apparently nobody else is.
Hey, what's going on?
No, shut up. Okay. 2 hours ago. So we got the SeaTax plane heist. Oh, wow. So that would actually be kind of interesting to watch, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to watch it because I know that, he'll claim that it's flag worthy. Ninja's not streaming with women. Bethesda blew it with how it handled used game sales. Nothing really that interesting. I'm actually shocked that he covered this, and I'm kind of curious what he had to say about it. I'm not going to do it, but I'm curious what he had to say about it because I like the title. It's like, was ultimately the last cry for help. It just feels like, it feels like he's channeling himself through the plane man. He's made it seem like he's the victim. He's hijacked the stories to suck up victim points. I think it's messed up that, oh man. Do you think he'll turn off comments? I bet he's watching this. I don't know. I don't know if he really considers me watch-worthy. I know he was subbed to my channel a couple of years ago. I think he's still subbed because I thought that I saw when he screen shared that my stream was live in his sub box. So I think he is still subscribed. You don't want to give Matt views. No, I just don't want him to flag the stream down. I bet his dislike ratios are amazing. So I saw earlier, before he posted these, I guess, that there were a lot of dislikes. There were a lot of people coming in and saying, hey, we know what you did. We're unsubscribing. I imagine some of them probably weren't even subscribers and they were just giving him shit. Chad Sky King. That plane situation, though, that was actually pretty messed up. I mean, it's somewhat entertaining to listen to, but just knowing that, that somebody actually went that crazy that they just kind of took off and, well, you know what happened. Plane chat is my hero. I saw people already trying to spin narratives about it. They're trying to call it terrorism. It's like, okay, how is it terrorism to hijack an empty plane and just go crash by yourself? That's the best personal... It's the best personal case for a suicide. Okay? It is sad, but I wonder what exactly drove him to that. I think the funniest comment, though, was when he's like, yeah, I played video games. And, the thing that kind of got me when he said that, I was thinking, okay, somebody's going to take this line and they're going to use it as to why video games are bad. It's not hijacking if the plane is empty. No, I'm a white guy. He did a barrel roll for us all. I like pleasure spiked with pain. I'm going to steal an airplane. Nice. Dude went out in style. More style than any of us could ever hope for. Most expensive solo suicide. That's, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Gamers really rising up. Aren't you dead? If Matt was the pilot, we could at least respect him for doing a barrel roll. A lot better than the Crybaby 13 Reasons Why. That show was really, just really messed up. It's like the ultimate narcissist. How? How are you going to blame everyone else for all your bad choices? Granted, some of the people in that show were wrong. Yes, I watched it. I don't know why I did that. But how are you going to blame everybody else for all your problems and then set up this elaborate scheme so that after you're gone, they can all feel guilty and you're not even around to enjoy the so-called revenge? What is your ethnicity? I'm just going to say various flavors of vanilla. Most expensive suicide was probably Russian soldier calling in an airstrike on himself in Syria. At the end of the day, stealing an empty plane beats another mass shooting. Definitely can agree with that. About sick of the whole gun debate. Although it does seem to have calmed down for now. But no doubt, when they can find something that to point to, unless of course it's a woman doing it, because the whole YouTube shooting thing got swept under the rug pretty quick. Had to watch the kill stream about Matt and Amira original was taken down. We did that on purpose. After it was over, Zidane told me that just private it and they'll do an upload. The plane man posted videos before doing the plane thing. Did he really? Did he do it? Did he like post YouTube videos or something, or did he have a Twitter? I'm curious. Plane was the perfect symbol of Matt's career. Oh, crash and burn. I do wonder if he'll be able to come back from that. I imagine that he probably has enough subscribers to, that just won't be into the so-called drama aspect, even though I think it goes a little bit beyond drama. That's another thing that I saw going around where people are like, they're trying to write the situation off as drama when clearly it goes beyond drama when you start trying to mess with people's income. It's not petty at that point. You're trying to ruin somebody's livelihood, and you're doing it because you're offended, which is amazing because this guy gives his opinions and criticizes people for a living. Yes, the videos will break your heart. Oh boy. Well, knock on wood, we don't need another false flag. 9/11'd himself. It would have been amazing if he landed it. I wonder if his conversations with air traffic control were really trolling or because of lack of oxygen. That's actually another thing that I thought about. I guess that's possible because he did mention something about pressurizing the cabin or something like that. Safe to say Matt's career is a goner. I mean, it might be unless he takes the advice of quite a few people and goes to doing things that, like the movie review stuff or whatever that he seems to like doing. Thing is, though, only a 30th of his subscribers watch his content on each video. Well, don't you think that, it's possible that 30th is sort of out of this circle of things and they kind of just go to him for news? I'm not saying that that's necessarily a good thing or that's enough to live on forever, but it might keep him afloat until he can draw in a new audience or something. Matt has been taking every sympathy angle for this. How long before he claims he... Oh, no. Please, no. He should bring the polar bear back. The polar bear was probably the most entertaining thing I've seen in a while. Granted, it's very cringy, but I think that's what makes it funny. Some at the Burger King drive-thru think he knew I recognize him and try hard to smile. Wait, are you being serious? Or are you just making a joke? What are you drinking, holy water? It's my favorite. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said this plane didn't make me feel... Yeah, it's a pretty messed up situation. All right. Well, anyways, I mean, that's pretty much it for the Matt stuff. I think it's been beaten into the ground. Everybody knows how everybody else feels about it. I just think, look, obviously people make mistakes, but the thing here is that he pretended, he put on a show. It's not like he just flagged people and lied by omission. He actually made statements claiming that he wasn't the one that did it. So he played a role. That's a little bit more devious. When it goes to screwing over your friend, that's a little bit more devious than just making a mistake. I'm not saying, who knows if he's an overall good or bad person in real life, but it's very obvious that this is a shit thing to do. We can't know every aspect of somebody just from what they post online, unless you're Boogie2988, in which you post everything online. If we let Matt get away with this now, he'll do it again, and we'll set the stage for others to follow. Well, I think other people are already doing it. I mean, think about it. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of this, but back during the when Candid was a thing, and all of the big YouTube personalities were shilling for Candid, there was a little bit of drama there with, I say drama for lack of a better term, with Shoe on Head and Armored Skeptic, where they were getting backlash for their Candid videos because, people were like, look, you say you support free speech, and here you are supporting this app that obviously doesn't do what it claims it set out to do. And they couldn't take the criticism, and it got to a point where Harmful Opinions outed this, that they were banning, or at least Shoe was banning, the word candid from their comment sections on their channels. So, I mean, if they could do that, if she could do that, and only apologize when she gets caught, I don't put it past any of these people to do things like that behind the scenes. And I think they do, because I really feel as though they are just as thin-skinned, if not more so, than the people that they criticize. Matt is a bitter loser with no outlet for his anger, so he took it out on people who used him for laughs by flagging them. That was his sneaky way to enact revenge. Yeah, but I think that's the cowardly way to do it. Wasn't Candid an algorithm training experiment to detect hate speech? Yeah, that's what it came out as later, and that's why they couldn't deal with it. Lynch the skeptics. Shit in diaper. Okay, that's... Has that actually been confirmed? I know that people were looking at the photo. I think what does he go by now? Harmful Opinions is still around. I just think he goes by a different name. I forgot what it was. Cyberharm? Something like that. Matt is a coward. Well, yeah, I guess he has shown that. Honestly, he just needs to learn how to stand up for himself. That's what it really comes down to. I think that if he just, shot back when people were punching on him, he'd feel a little bit better about himself. Okay, real talk, I gotta know, was it a diaper, ass pad, or implant? I have no idea. Why would you act like anybody doesn't do shit like that? You're out of your mind if you think the majority of people aren't hypocrites. Yeah, I mean, look, they are, but, obviously everybody does something hypocritical at one point or another, but it matters whether or not you try to be self-aware of that and try your best to be consistent. But that's the thing about social media. It's that social media, and when people get larger followings, it's like social media records everything you do, everything you say, and no matter how much time goes by, there are some people that are always going to throw that up to you and never let you forget it. And I think that is something that people don't take into account, that it's kind of a new thing. It's something we didn't have before. You could walk around in real life and make a mistake, and, maybe some close friends or family members would know, and they'd forgive and forget, and, everybody would move on. But now it's like so many people are there to record your mistakes, point them out to you at every turn if they don't like you. And so I think people want to build up this persona that they're always right. They can't make mistakes. They have to be perfect all the time. Sub Scratch Point. Hey, Nora. Yeah, are we shitting on Matt? Yeah, we were a little bit. Just a little bit. We're mostly moving on from that topic, unfortunately. You're a little bit late, but yeah, it's all connected. We got an head. Was that Ralph's name for her? Medicare never forgets. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think it would be better if everybody was just able to be honest about their mistakes. Now, look, there are some mistakes that are nobody's business. If it happens offline, you never post about it, it doesn't matter what your audience thinks. They're not privy to that information. But if it's a mistake that's involved with your social media career or persona or whatever, then you should own up to it, okay? You should apologize to people that you have wronged. You should try to make a change for the better. But that's saying if you're honest about it and if you want to. Dongwave said something up here. Let me just go check it out real quick. His fans are as bad, if not worse, than he is. In the aftermath of all this, they've been openly and actively flagging people on YouTube and Twitter. I did see the flags on Twitter. They were going after Leaf. Hey, Dark Vulgar, what's up? Yeah, so I talked about that briefly earlier, but there was the guy that was flagging and threatening lawsuits. Like, get out of here, man! What are you talking about? And you go to his Twitter profile, and he's like, I'm an autistic pansexual or something like that. So it's like Bronx Blogger's boyfriend or something. I don't know where these people come from. They got me too. Had to make a new Twitter last. Oh, that's what that was about. I was like, yeah, I could have sworn that we were following each other. Snatch point. Nice. Really nice. I can take it. Somebody also called me a faggot before the stream started, so that was pretty cool. Should I flag him down? Should I ban him? A couple of Cogs vids got flagged too. I did see that. He just posted a little while ago that his appeal got denied. Just wanted to say you're awesome and your shit is hella entertaining. Well, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Awesome. Matt is the sort of person that will sway with the winds and never develop a spine. So that's another thing. These YouTube guys, like I pointed this out earlier in the week before the Mundane Matt stuff even went down, during when the Alex Jones stuff happened. Like Philly D, Boogie. I guess you could throw Mundane Matt in the pile now. The people like that, where YouTube is their world, you know, at the end of the day, they might be semi-critical of YouTube. Okay, notifications everywhere. Thank you for the subscriptions, guys. They might be semi-critical of YouTube to a point, but when it really counts and it's really going to... I'm a poopy head? Okay, then. Definitely banned. When it really counts, they're not going to take a stand. They're going to side with YouTube. They're not going to stand for the principle. They're going to side with whatever YouTube is, because at the end of the day, you know, that's their bread and butter. And that's why it's so hard to find people that are popular and genuine, because at some point it comes to a point where, you know, they get caught up in worrying that their career is going to end. And look, that to an extent is obviously a valid concern when it comes to the way you make your money, but it's very hard to separate those two when your opinions are what, you know, are what makes you money. I'm not saying that what they do is right. I don't think it's right at all to just, you know, like be the fence sitter and play the safe side. I think you should give your genuine opinion, and regardless of whether people, you know, want to throw money at you for that, you know, that's the way it's got to be if you want to be respected or, you know, taken seriously, because eventually people are going to see through it. You can only do that for so long. I guess this is sort of a lesson though for someone like Matt. I don't know if he'll learn anything. I mean, you see that he's posting videos and just kind of going on like nothing. Thank you. Appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy. Yeah, so it's just crazy to me. Careers equals tears. Well, I mean, look, we could also go into how that is a problem, you know, of the, I guess, the time where YouTube started to become less about the you in YouTube and more about the dollar signs. Philly D pissed off a lot of his fans off for that stance. Yeah, I tagged him and Boogie in the massive thread that I told them off in, and I mean, they never responded. I didn't expect them to, but I figured that I would just throw them in there on the off chance that they see it. Cognitive Thought flagged today by Matt or Matt fan. Thanks for the $2, Europe. Yeah, I saw that. It's absolutely absurd. I can't believe that he's getting away with it, or that they are getting away with that. Just honestly hope people stop inviting him to chats. Like, really. I don't know. It's like it's the wait, what Momo thing? Oh, you're talking about that on the screen there. Momo suicide challenge. I've never heard of that. We could look it up. All right, let's see. I don't want. Hopefully, no Fox News videos randomly start playing. Of course, they will because I don't have a blocker on this incognito. Let me just turn off the audio. Okay. Let's see what it is. A sick suicide game dubbed Momo has been spreading on WhatsApp, prompting police to issue warnings about the shocking challenge. Momo is a viral challenge that asks people to add a contact via WhatsApp. They are then urged to commit self-harm or suicide. What? The game has fueled comparisons to the sinister Blue Whale challenge. That I heard of briefly. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it had something to do with people killing themselves. They led to reports of suicide in Russia and the US, as well as the online fictional character of Slender Man. Yep, in 2014, two 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin attempted to kill a classmate. I remember that messed up story. Let's see. Yeah, I don't understand this. The girl filmed herself activities prior to hanging herself from a tree. Wow, that's in Argentina. Don't add Momo. A strange face of a woman will appear to you. That's so creepy, though. What did you eat for lunch? Needs answering? Really? I had a protein bar for lunch. It was all right. It was more of just a filler to hold me over because I wanted to stream on Twitch, so I decided to just choke that down and stream. Let's see. The thing is, I don't understand these so-called challenge things. Like, even if somebody sent you this, why would you play? Why would you go along with it? You should play Scrub's new music video that just dropped at the end. It's pretty damn good. Oh. Well, I'll see about that. Is Matt doing that challenge? I don't know about that. Avoid talking with strangers. See, but here's the thing. I guess I don't understand how this works, because why would you go along with it unless you're already somebody that is suicidal? Criminals can use the game to steal. So I guess it's like some sort of scam? Because it says something about a person adding you. Creepy Momo image was taken from an Instagram account. So they like stole a photo and then created some weird suicide channel. Bad Headspace. Children are dumber than ever, and parents are pound for pound worse they've ever been. I mean, it certainly seems that way sometimes when you see all this crap. But I guess, it could be a consequence of, not enough parenting, not enough teaching children specifically, right and wrong. The non-political kind. Because we know that everybody goes for the whole woke child thing. Well, the Tide Pod challenge was a joke and people actually started doing it. That's just amazing to me. The culture is completely pathologized, and that's the necessary ingredient to have this level of self-harm go rampant. Bad touch Matt. Matt is about as depressing. All right. So that's what Momo is, I guess. I've never heard of it. I'm gonna get out of mundane Matt land here and take a look at this. So I don't know if you guys. I know somebody mentioned it in the chat. What the fuck is this about Octopath being sexist? We're gonna get to that. I thought it was ridiculous. I've been playing it lately on Twitch, so that's why it was relevant for me to talk about. Just because I'm currently going through the story, so I'll be able to have it fresh in mind about what's going on, whether or not the article is accurate, which granted, from the title alone, you can imagine that it's not. Thought Momo was a cosplayer that touches guys. Yeah, that's the only one I know.
I thought Momo was a character from Breath.
Breath of Fire 3. You cut out like halfway through there.
Yeah, I said I thought Momo was a character
I don't know why that keeps
use,
happening.
that used guns, which we can't use guns anymore. But
Especially not in video games. Those are murder simulators. Don't forget the stupid Drake challenge kids are getting. Oh, that's right. I saw that because there was somebody on Twitter that she got her Instagram suspended because she posted a video of herself doing that challenge. And the extra bad thing about that was she wasn't the passenger in the car. She was the driver. So she jumps out of the car while it's rolling down the street to do some stupid dance challenge. How dumb do you have to be to do that? And then she's saying, "You're muted? I'm muted? How's that possible?" Can you guys hear me or no? I'll wait a sec before I go on. No, he's not. Oh, you're messing with me? All right, guys. 10 out of 10. Anyway. What was I saying now? See, it totally threw me off. I thought I randomly, cut out there. I hear you. Oh, I see. All right, thank you for all the information. We can hear you. All right. Matt is currently in jail. Apparently he was running around stealing flags at golf courses and flagpoles. Oh yeah, so the Twitter idiot there. That's what I was saying. She's begging people to help her get her account back. It's like, not only should you not have your account back, but you should have your driver's license ripped up. I just think any situation where, look, you hurt yourself if you want to. That's on you. But when you do something that is endangering other people because of your stupidity, that's where you've crossed the line. Hey, Ralph, what's going on? You were dumb enough to do that. Maybe you should not be saved if you die. If you want to hop on or something, I don't know if you have time, but it's up to you. The pic of Momo is from a Japanese art exhibit. Oh, is it really? Is it like some kind of horror thing or something? That's what it looks like. It looks like one of those weird horror things. Oh, why did I... Okay. Trying to scroll through the chat on my laptop, and it's a really terrible, terrible laptop. There, now I can see you better. I gave you the almighty wrench.
Speaking of scary, I just fought a monster in an old NES game that we're...
I don't know I don't know. Maybe you need to refresh Discord or something. It keeps chopping out. I don't really understand it.
I don't know why my receiver for my microphone is right here. It could be the controller in my hand, but I've streamed with that in my hand before, so I don't know what it is. I can move the receiver closer.
I didn't say it was going on. Oh, I did. Oh, I'm cutting into quality time here. That's not good. Okay.
We've seen Bad Boys. We know all about quality time.
Yes, very very important stuff. If they get the wrench, can I get the hammer?
Only if we had sickles.
Yeah, there we go. So anyway, that's enough about stupid challenges online. First, I guess I'll go over this ninja thing real quick. Then we'll move on to the Octopath thing. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it's just a Discord being a dick, because we were talking earlier and it was working perfectly fine. Send me your Discord, though. I don't know which one you're using. All right, let me find my Discord because I'm a Discord newbie.
Oh, but I meant to talk about what I was.
Yep, lost you again.
Oh, I'm gone again.
Yeah, I don't know what it's
I'm
doing. It's like every time
I'm
you
gonna-
start talking, it just kills off.
I'm gonna leave and come back in then.
All right. Yeah, Ralph, I sent you via Discord the invite to where I'm at. We're going to try to get these technical difficulties worked out real quick. But I'm just going to go on with this this post here. I don't know if... Let me see. All right. Anyway, so this ninja guy, very, very famous Twitch streamer. I don't really watch many Twitch streamers, which is kind of funny because I stream on there rather frequently. But I'm not much of a watcher. I'm more of a doer. You know, there's obviously some exceptions to that. But for the most part,
working better?
it seems like it so far.
Okay.
So this is really weird, though. I read through this article earlier. It's pretty short, but they don't give much context. I saw another article saying that this was an interview with Polygon, but then in the Polygon article it says, okay, yeah, when we spoke at a recent Samsung event. So yeah, I guess the writer from Polygon spoke with him at the Samsung event. Take some shekels for being a good guy. Foregone, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Ninja is basically the #1 streamer. Yeah, he's the guy that streamed with Drake or whatever, and everybody was losing their minds. Oh, I'm gonna pull Ralph. I see you in there. What are you? Oh, were you not in there on purpose? What are you all even using? Maybe I don't understand the question. So, there seems to be some conflicting information. But what I don't like is I don't like this cold open. It's just like, I don't play with female gamers, says Tyler Ninja Blevins, Twitch's biggest streamer and one of the faces of the Fortnite fandom. Like, how do you open with that? There's no context here as to what happened to lead him to say that. It's basically just like throwing him under the bus from the beginning, because you know the way that Polygon frames things when it comes to stuff like this. So, I mean, if you open up with something like, I don't play with female gamers, you know they're shitting on him right away. I'm in. Okay.
Scratch, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up?
Nothing. No, I couldn't see the room that you were in. Then all of a sudden it like appeared when you grabbed it. How did you make it invisible like that?
I don't know.
I moved you in here.
Okay, but I couldn't even see you guys in there talking though.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, Discord's messed up for me. Like, for a while, I lost privileges to my own channel, and I couldn't pull anybody in or anything, and now it's working again, so I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, Discord, man, it's kind of tricky sometimes, I have to say. But you never know. What are you guys up to? Just doing a little Saturday night stream. This is my off night. You know, I'm about to have to watch some New Japan with my wife.
Yeah, just a little stream. I thought that it's been a while since I did it, so I was due. I always feel a little bad doing it, like when so many people sub for Killstream, because you know they always get confused. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, we're just going over this. I don't know if you heard about it. But we're just going over this.
Okay. By the way,
what's up?
Can you hear me still?
I can hear you better now.
I should sound a lot better now. Yeah,
Oh, you do?
I forgot to turn voice meter on. I updated Windows a little bit earlier. So.
Oh, yeah, you sound like you're speaking through a totally different mic now.
Yeah, I didn't have it on, but yeah. Nah, man, yeah, it's good. Do some streams. I mean, it's my off night. You might as well.
There you go.
Yeah. What about? I just want to talk about real quick. I know this. I'm kind of just like totally subverted the stream.
No, whatever you want. Go for it.
But real quick, did you see that Monday Matt's back?
I did. We were talking about that earlier. I saw that he posted some videos, but it was pretty recent because I checked his channel earlier today because I was curious just to see what his comment section looked like. And oh boy, it's bad.
Wow, it is brutal.
Make
And
Europe
then just-
Strong Again sent a super chat. He says, Faith Goldie running for mayor, get on Killstream. So I guess you have a request there.
Wait, who said what?
Make Europe Strong. I guess it says Strong
I
again.
tried to get her on, man. She's been fucking. I mean, I don't know. I won't say. I won't get too salty about it. But you know, I sent her some messages. I fucking tweeted at her. I was like, hey, we would like to get you on, but I mean, I don't know. I can't make her come on the show. But I'm gonna still try. I'll still try to get a hold of her. But she's definitely one of the people I've thought about. I mean, she follows me on Twitter, so.
She's got to get on now. I mean, you had the Medic or Disc Masterson stream.
I wouldn't. I mean, if you ask me, I would think she would, be down to come on, but I haven't gotten to talk to her, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm still. Oh, Jay Dyer is gonna be here on Wednesday.
Oh, cool. I think he's pretty funny.
But yeah, the Matt thing, like I went through and I didn't watch. I don't watch his videos, but
yeah, I just checked the comment section.
Yeah, I went through and read the comments, and they're just brutal. And when Jim's video comes out tomorrow, it's
I think that's going to be a big hit, really. Because there's probably
that one has been long overdue, so I can only imagine how it'll be.
Yeah, because I'm imagining that there's probably, despite how many people saw the kill stream, there's probably still a lot of people that haven't seen what he did. So you're gonna have even more people aware of what's going on.
Yeah, that's the thing. We all follow this shit every day. Of course, it's kind of my job to follow it. So, you just assume some people just take for granted. Everybody knows what you're talking about. I remember back in, GG days, people, everybody knows what you mean. I mean, no, most people actually don't.
Yeah, it's like nobody had a damn clue outside of the circle what Gamergate was back then.
It's a small segment. The people that follow it, and even the people that follow YouTube, they might not know what happened on that stream. Of course, we took down the stream itself just to be like extra careful. Honestly, I think we could have left it up, but just we were being really careful, especially that first night.
Yeah, especially considering that he was the focus. Who knows if he would have just been a baby
I mean, it's
about
on
it.
the archive, and I let people do whatever they want with the show anyway, so it's all over YouTube. But still, somebody big like Mr. Medicare talking about it, doing his video, it's gonna get 300,000. It might even hit 500,000 if he hits Matt up hard. Like this thing's gonna blow up.
Oh yeah, I imagine
it's gonna be at least crowd levels. I mean, what 300,000 or 400,000? I think so.
I think it's gonna be pretty entertaining because there is a lot of cringe out there related to Matt.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look, when you're on the internet for a long time and you're doing all these different types of content, then there's bound to be a collection.
And Jim said he was going hard too. That he wanted to be thorough. He wanted to just go down the list.
Well, I imagine now after being like lied to and dicked with for like an hour and a half.
I don't think he was too happy. No, I really don't. I don't blame him.
No, because I really feel like he kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and I was kind of talking about this a little bit last night. I mean, I know Jim always kind of pokes fun at Matt, but I never took it as something serious to where, I'm trying to, ruin you or end your career or, whatever, do anything besides just have some fun.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's malicious. It always seems like it was just, poking fun at stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to be that style tomorrow. I think it's going to be.
No, I think we're done with those days.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think you should call it the Mundane Massacre. I actually considered, naming this stream Mundane Massacre.
I think the Hangman's coming through tomorrow. That's what I think, and I cannot wait. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about once it drops, doing like a watch party.
Oh God!
Here special event. Now Zidane's out of town, so I don't know if we'll have the whole crew or not. Gator might be around. We'll see what we can do. Maybe try to call in a special friend or two, and then just sit here and just watch it and laugh.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. So. Little tease. We'll see. I don't want to promise that because I don't know. I might be tired or fucking passed out or something tomorrow. But if I'm around, I'm thinking that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah. Again, I just want to thank you publicly for letting me use your channel. It's fun. I've said it a million times, but it can't be said enough. Really. So.
No problem, man. No problem.
Yeah, it's really really nice of you. I still haven't heard back from YouTube.
I wonder what's going to go on with that because. I don't know if you saw Cognitive Thought. He got denied for his appeal.
Yeah, see, I still Well, every time I've filed an appeal, it's taken almost 3 days, almost exactly, or at least on that third day is when I always hear back. And I see these guys getting their appeals back quick. Jim said he got his back in like 20 minutes, and I was wow. Yeah, I know his channel's a lot bigger, so maybe that had something to do with it.
They denied him though, right?
Yeah, they did not. Yeah, they flat out denied him within 20 minutes.
Yeah, so he's probably not happy about that. Because I mean, I know he doesn't stream much, but there goes streaming for 3 months.
I don't think he's happy about that at all, and I don't blame him. But yeah, I still haven't heard back. Now, what did Cognitive Thought? What was his strike? What was the video that they struck?
You know, I'm not sure. I think it had. I mean, it obviously had something to do with Matt, but I don't know what it was. It might have been.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because I've kind of, when the show's over, I kind of unplug on the weekends a little bit. So I didn't. I just saw he got a strike. It flew by.
Let me see. Let me see if
and
I can find him.
I just wasn't sure if it was directly related to Matt content or not.
What is his Twitter name? It's not Cognitive Thought. Because he's been banned before, so I always have a hard time finding him.
Hold on, I can find it. I think. I don't know. Honestly, I can't. Something Cognificent or something.
Cognificent, maybe that. Yeah, that sounds
be.
about right.
Oh wait, there he is. The Cognificent, I think. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the Polly video. No, I'm looking through. Oh my god. Yeah, it is. It is the Polly. I see the video right here. We probably shouldn't play it, but
yeah.
Yeah, it was Matt content. Looks like he took his video and the Polly, the polar bear, and he spliced it with some fucking Boondocks clips and shit, which is hilarious.
Oh, that's too good.
But yeah, that is what he got the strike for.
Yeah, because there's one here that I see that says Mundane Matt apologizes for Polly the polar bear, and that apparently got it.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just like a satirical.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
I don't know. I wasn't too confident on the other strike appeals, and then they ended up going through, but everybody's getting denied on this same. I mean, it's Matt's video that was on his fucking channel for 6 years.
6 years, yeah. It's like 2012 or something. Right?
So I'm really having a hard time understanding.
Well, YouTube makes no damn sense. Like, how do you strike it down, but then the one that's been there for 6 years originally is still there? I mean, I guess it's gone now because he deleted it.
No, he
but...
took it. Well, he deleted it, but it was there all that time.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Some people speculate that maybe there's because we got away with a couple already that other people might not have gotten away with. Some people speculated that maybe there's a Killstream fan there in the review team at YouTube. So
that would be hilarious.
Sure. We'll see if we get this one beat. I might
give
that more credence.
they got to get in touch with you if there is. They can
yeah, exactly,
get themselves like a voice changer and come on the show.
We'll talk on Telegram or wherever. But yeah, if that's true, you can hear the sound of my voice. Hit me up. But Nora thinks we're gonna beat it. She says she's been right about them all so far.
I think you could do it because the other ones were arguably worse, I guess. I would think that
the Aaron one I really didn't think I was gonna beat. I mean, the video we showed was literally her like fucking rubbing her pussy and just what was I thinking?
All kinds of wrong.
There. Now I changed, I cut the video at certain points where you couldn't. It was nothing explicit, but they reported and said I was showing nudity, which there was no nudity, but it was definitely. It
was heavily implied nudity.
Yeah, and then right when she's about to rub her clit, I cut it. I mean, I don't know. I was really dumb to even do that in the first place.
It's all in the name of entertainment, I guess.
Yeah, well,
the things you do to put on a show, right?
The audience was loving it. Then she, do you even remember that where she
rolling something in her fingers and
dirt or something
what is in there? What's going on?
And, smells it.
Maybe she's friends with Lena Dunham and she was trying to pull some stones out or something.
I don't know. That was disgusting. Anyway, I was an idiot for doing that in the first place. But anyway, we beat it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I just wanted to pop in real quick. I don't want to derail you guys' whole show and try to take it over or anything. I figured I'd pop in and say what's up.
No, it's no problem. I mean, if you want to join in anytime or whatever, that's cool.
Yeah, I'd definitely be down to join again for sure.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything important anyway. I'm just playing 32-year-old NES games.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Classic game, you cannot beat it. I actually have my Wii U hacked and have all the fucking Super Nintendo games uploaded to it. Sega Genesis.
That's actually what I have on my original Wii.
On your original what? Wii?
Yeah, original Wii.
Yeah. So I have a PSP that's fucking hacked too, and I got a bunch of shit on that. But I like playing them.
I did that too. I did the PSP. I've done the
Yeah.
Wii. I did the
Original Xbox.
yeah, the Xbox and the Super Nintendo Classic that a friend gifted me. I went and added more games to it.
Yeah, I got all that shit. I thought about hacking my Switch, but
Oh, you can do
I don't
that
really
too?
wanna- Yeah, I don't know if the games part, so uploading the games part works, but yeah, they've cracked it. Now I haven't been keeping up with it the last couple months, but they definitely. Now you can do it yourself. You can just take a fucking basically a not clothespin, but whatever the fuck, paperclip, and then short out one of the Joy Cons,
Oh, jeez.
and then it lets you, I don't know, get around the copy protection or whatever the fuck it is. And I just didn't want to do it because I would have to buy another Switch because they're definitely gonna kick you off of and like blacklist your Switch and shit. So I didn't really want to do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, aren't they coming out with the online stuff pretty soon?
Yeah. I just didn't feel like doing it. But they have what's it? Team Executor has a thing where you just pay them like $50 and they send you like a little tool or whatever. But nah, I'm just not. I don't really need to do that.
Yeah, I'm not ready to mess with my Switch. I
Not the
just got
Switch,
it.
not the Switch. Now the Wii U, I got that bitch. Fuck, I got everything on that. But as far as the Switch, nah.
Wii U, I might actually take a shot at because I realized that mine is effectively a brick. I have like one game for it, and I've only played it a little bit.
Yeah, you should. Dude.
You
can
mean
do a
you mean the
lot.
one that you stole, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Liberated.
There you go.
Liberated. But yeah, I actually I got Breath of the Wild on Wii U that I just fucking downloaded and put up on. So that's what gave me the motivation to fucking hack it. So I was like really broke at that time. Thankfully the show's been doing pretty well. So
A lot better, yeah.
Not quite as bad. Not quite as hard days. Not that I'm rich or anything, but not quite as hard a days as it was back then. So I went ahead and cracked the Wii U and had my way with it. So.
But did it
Anyway,
consent?
guys.
That's the question.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But guess what? The Wii U was asking for it.
Jared Holt
Looking at
article
me,
coming
just
soon.
Looking like a little slut, just laying over there, just want me to take it all. So
That's victim blaming.
I had to go for it.
all right, guys. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Take care, man.
Program. All right, man.
All right. Necro, I see you have joined the fray.
Yes.
What's up, man?
Not a lot. Not much as always.
Kick Ethan and bring in Nora's soothing opinion. Thanks for the super chat there, Robert. I think Nora has had enough though. She's probably going to drag Ralph to watch whatever they were going to watch.
Some degenerate stuff.
There we go. So you guys, Necro, have you heard about this Ninja thing? This Twitch streamer?
I saw it, and I often watch Ninja, and when I say often, I mean like if he's on, if I have nothing else to watch, then I'll.
That's
just
what you
kinda turn
go
him on.
to. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, what do you think? How is he? Is he just entertaining? Is that the appeal? Like, is he funny?
He's just really good at the game. He's not entertaining to me personally. Like Tim the Tatman is more entertaining as a Fortnite player than he is, but Ninja I guess can at sometimes be funny.
Okay. So basically, they start this article with no context. I don't know how long you've been listening, but they started off with no context and just they quote him, "I don't play with female gamers." And you know the way that Polygon frames things, there's no way that they're not going into this without an angle. I mean, if you were trying to do some real reporting here, I imagine you would provide some context as to how the conversation got there instead of opening with a random line like that. which is sure to be taken the wrong way. All right, I'm just gonna continue and finish up this article because it is pretty short. So, says though Blevins isn't shy about being married and his more than 10 million subscribers, which is insane to think about. They actually mean subscribers. Include people of every gender identity. You mean men and women? The internet's love of gossip has convinced the Twitch star not to invite women to participate in his Fortnite Battle Royale live streams. With fame comes scrutiny of everything you say or do, he suggested, and that can sometimes lead to questions about who you're sleeping or flirting with on the sly. Which, I mean, he's not wrong. Just take a look at things like Me Too.
Well, there's also that thing recently, or not recently, but the thing last year with Dr. Disrespect, and how he pretty much like he's a social butterfly, where he goes and like talks to people when he's at events or like meetups and things like that, and he was caught cheating on his wife, and for a long time people just didn't want to talk about it because that's their own private affair, which is true enough, and you just can't not hear about it. And so Ninja does things to pretty much abolish that so it never comes up ever again.
Yeah.
So he doesn't play with female gamers, like gamers or live streamers or anything like that. So that way it keeps all of that out of his business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that. I mean, it sounds like pretty sound reasoning, given the way that celebrities are under constant, scrutiny. There's always somebody out there waiting for one of them to mess up, even if it's not an actual mistake. They kind of just take it and twist it the way they want, much like we're seeing here. So he says, if I have one conversation with one female streamer where we're playing with one another, and even if there's a hint of flirting, that is going to be taken and going to be put on every single video and be clickbait forever. There's some truth to the idea that flirting can lead to YouTube clickbait and invasive questions. Blevins has asked some himself when playing with other well-known male streamers. Take the clip below. We're not going to watch the clip below because I don't know if it'll get struck. With Fortnite star Ali Myth Kabani, I guess. And then
Myth is another streamer. Yeah.
Okay. And then Pokimane? Is that Pokimane? Maybe it's Pokimane. I don't know. I don't know these people. So they're both big names, I guess, and apparently people, were speculating about their relationship. That's the basis of that. Let's see. His wife is a streamer too?
Maybe? I don't know that.
Yeah, because it says, but when it comes to his relationship with streamer Jessica J. Ghosty Blevins, I guess that answers my question, who often appears on her husband's channel, Blevins is happy to be open up about his devotion, not being connected to other women online. That was something I made 100% sure, he said. It was his decision alone to keep his streaming partners men only. That was not even her. She had nothing to do with it. That was me being, I love our relationship, and no, I'm not going to even put you through that. A growing Twitch means a diminishing sense of privacy, especially for women on the platform. How does that even make sense? Like, how could it affect women more? I thought women were underrepresented, and now their diminishing sense of privacy is especially for women. It doesn't even make any sense either, because aren't these the same people that argue like, okay, women can wear whatever they want on their stream, and it's not, it doesn't mean that they're doing it for attention or anything. Like, kind of, that's a privacy issue, I would argue. See, female streamers have opened up before about the difficulty in maintaining a separation between their Twitch personas and who they are offline, often at the behest of viewers who demand answers, lest they assume what's going on for themselves. Oh no. Respect is a major part of playing Fortnite and other games, yet women often are the receiving end of anything but Twitch thoughts. And it mentions the alinity thing. Harassment, warding off obsessive or judgmental viewers are all serious concerns for well-known female streamers as they roll in cash. In contrast to the reality of being a woman on Twitch, I hate when, honestly, like, whenever somebody says something like, a woman in games, a woman on Twitch, I can't help but cringe. It's just like a natural reaction at this point. Because nobody can ever seem to qualify what that means other than in the context of somehow being a bigger victim. So it says, Blevin's choice to draw a line feels like a conservative gesture, even a familiar, divisive one. And he says, there hasn't been a single female gamer or streamer on Twitch or anything like that who's been upset about that. I think that it's just kind of like a respect thing. So it says, Ninja may not hear criticism of his decision, but similar gender-based views have received pushback in the political sphere. Of course, think of the outcry surrounding Vice President Mike Pence. Of course they were going to mention that. Still, the Twitch streamer is sticking to his absolute, which he believes is the only choice. The only way to avoid that gossip is to not play with them at all. I really
He's not
don't.
wrong.
Yeah, I really don't see a problem with this because how it's about his marriage. He's allowed to act however he wants, within the confines of his marriage. If he thinks that that's going to help his relationship be healthier, that's what he should do. And I'm not, like if I were him, I wouldn't change my behavior to please people that are not part of my personal life. That just makes absolutely no sense.
I mean, if they want to make the argument for women on Twitch, I mean, there's plenty of women on Twitch that do a much better job than the ones that they're thinking of that they want to label as Twitch thoughts. There's people that are legitimately hardworking women on Twitch that do a lot of things in the creative department and they actually do play games very well.
Yeah.
I think Queen E is someone that I follow. She plays a lot of like Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm. Really good at it. That's how I learned a lot of strategies and things like that. I mean, there's people that do a lot of things. Now, for Ninja to not play with any female gamers or streamers, I can see why he doesn't want to. And it's not because of, like, oh, well, women.
Yeah, he's not like, ew, girls or something like that.
Yeah, it's just like he wants to keep any type of rumors and speculation out of the question. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not really going to get rid of that. So if you could somehow change the social climate, maybe his stance would change, but I don't see how that's going to happen. I just don't see that changing with the way that, people like to create gossip. You actually have people that quote unquote ship YouTubers.
Right.
I mean, those are real people you're talking about, and they just act like it's a fictional character to play with in their minds. It's crazy.
He's okay with it. The other female streamers are okay with it. So, but these are the same people that always use that argument, that talking point. So why is it a problem now?
Yeah, like how is this? I mean, you're making an issue out of something that nobody seems to have a real issue with. But now, maybe you'll have people that will come forward and pretend it's a problem. I didn't listen in, but
well, that's because there's where there is no outrage, people will create outrage.
Yeah, exactly. So the funny thing is, when I first looked at this article earlier, I clicked the Pokimane link out of curiosity, and she was actually on live talking about this article, but I didn't hang around and listen because I was preparing for my Twitch stream, and I didn't want to just like sit there and listen in on her take on it. So the only thing I heard was she said something like it was hard because boys didn't want to play with her or something when she was younger, or some crap like that. I didn't stick around and listen to the entire story, so it could have ended up on a more positive note, but yeah, I wasn't really too interested in it.
And yeah, I've seen his wife on stream. Like I've seen like the clip of when they played with Drake, and like she was like losing her mind. So I've seen her before. I don't think she streams like on her own, but she's been on his streams.
Oh, okay. I do see a channel link for her here, but maybe it's just...
I mean, it could be. I don't know.
She's currently
Everybody
offline.
streams.
Oh, wow. She has 325,000 followers, so I guess she must stream a little bit at least. That's wild. But I mean, it's probably a somewhat of a shared audience. I guess I shouldn't say that because then it's taking away credit for her. Oh no, this NPC in Octopath just said it's a queer mystery. Better call the SPLC. I don't remember that part of dialogue, so maybe I haven't been to that part yet. What I did was I ended up following a couple of characters' paths just because the location of where their chapters took place on the map, it was easier to just go that direction. But now I'm kind of spreading out and trying to finish up more of the chapters for other characters. But that was pretty much all I thought about this this ninja thing. I thought it was a non-issue and that they're kind of just trying to stir up some sort of controversy for the sake of, going at a bigger figure just because it's a good target for clicks, really. And they already had that one a while ago where I guess he was rapping on stream or something and he said nigga and people flipped out or he had to apologize.
Yeah, well, it's something where people were crying for like the censorship part of it. They were like, "Well, why didn't you take down his channel when he said the N word?"
I can understand that angle because it
And-
does show unfairness.
Yeah, and the Twitch people were like, "Well, we have to look at it at a context point of view. Like, what was the context of how he used it?"
So I actually agree with that, but I wish they would apply that evenly across the board.
Right.
And they certainly don't. Good old Twitch. I mean, I guess I
Who
don't.
wants Papa John's?
Yeah. I say we all go out for some after this stream. Might take a while to actually, meet up, but save the logistics for later. So the final story of the evening. I don't know why it's asking me if I consent. I'm not going to do that.
I do not consent.
I can't. It won't even let me. I'm going to refresh. It's just like stuck there. So basically, it says something like we need to talk about Octopath Traveler and like the garbage sexism or something like that. Yeah. It says it's got some spoilers. If any of you in the chat care about spoilers, I suppose I'm going to have to warn you now. No, we're just about to do the Octopath thing, Cloudstar. So, fair warning. Don't blame me if it ruins the story for you, because I'm probably getting some shit ruined for myself as well. But it's all in the name of calling out stupidity. So we're gonna go.
Game, by the way.
Yes.
Boy, when you played through that first part,
That's actually T for trad life. That's why they treat women the way they do.
Man.
All right. So it says this post. I love the arrogance here. This post includes spoilers for Octopath Traveler's story, but who cares? It sucks.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for giving me that heads up. I mean, it's all subjective, but thanks.
Yeah. So Octopath Traveler might be purposefully retro in its aesthetic and gameplay, but the game's most backward quality of all is by far the blatant misogyny. Buzzwords. Didn't take long.
Yeah.
The pixelated art style of this new beloved JRPG looks positively modern in comparison to how it unnecessarily sexualizes, infantilizes, patronizes, and exploits the abuse of nearly every one of its women characters.
So these are sprites. Last time I checked, right? I don't know how you can sexualize pixels on a screen.
Hashtag sprite women are women. Okay.
Here we go.
We did drop some viewers, so maybe they did care about Octopath spoilers.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's totally cool. I'm not holding it against them. I just wonder if that's actually the case. All right, so it says the widespread success and popularity of Octopath Traveler took publisher Square Enix by total surprise. I don't know how, because people have been calling for these kind of games to be, them to go back to that style for ages, selling out so fast in Japan that the company publicly apologized twice. We're sorry we didn't make enough. When it made its way to America on the Switch in July, it was to rave reviews that earned it a Metacritic score of 84, but not 1984. Critics showered it with praise for its blend of nostalgia and innovation, while admitting that the stories of its 8 different main characters were little more than juvenile cliches. I don't know if I agree with that. Hold on one sec here. We got a super chat from Ragnall. Thank you for hosting Ralph Scratchpoint. You've had his back consistently, so have some shekels. No problem.
Have some dosh, please.
I enjoy the stream, so I want to see it keep going, and it's not really a problem at all to host it.
You're a good boy.
No, yeah. There's no work for me involved. Like they just do it themselves, so. I just gave them permission. That's it. Okay, so yeah, I don't think the stories are all that cliche. I actually, yeah, you could probably point out some tropes or whatever if you want to go to TV tropes, but I think that's silly because it's not.
Unless there are any asexuals in the chat, I don't think anybody's going to TV tropes.
There we go. It's not the I don't think it matters whether or not it's a trope. I think what matters is how it's presented. So if you have a cliche, but it's not presented in the typical fashion, you can still use that and have it be interesting. And I think that I like the stories in this game because they are they're more self-contained. They're more character driven. It's not necessarily we have to get together and save the world. It's more of we have to get together and solve each other's problems and see where that goes. Let's see. Just want to check the chat.
If anybody else wants to play a similar game like that, Saga Frontier 2 would be where I think that takes a large page from. Saga Frontier 2, well, and the first one, largely have that kind of gameplay.
TV tropes is the SPLC of fun. Cliche isn't a dirty word, goddammit. No, it's not. It's kind of been made out to be one, but I don't necessarily think that it's automatically a bad thing. Like I said, it's mostly about presentation. So it says, but few seem concerned with which of these characters suffered most from its tropey mess of a script, giving it a pass on the sexism it resurrects from a bygone era in games. We have a, let's see, little screenshot here where Primrose says, now this isn't right, shutting up pretty girls in a miserable place like this. I wish I could believe this was a self-aware criticism. I'm pretty sure that's a humorous line. I don't know why you would post that as though, it's being... Oh, boy. There's a clear gendered difference between how the male and female protagonist storylines play out. It's almost like men and women are different and react to things differently. That's crazy, right?
It's almost like they wrote a script.
Yeah.
And they had to be different for some reason.
Well, no, we should just fuse all the characters together and play out the same story as long as it's not problematic.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't learn that in creative writing class, so...
Get all your action figures out. They're all going to have the same adventure every time.
Everybody's going to be equally powerful. Nobody's going to lose. Nobody's going to have a different power or anything. Everybody's going to have the exact same power. That when they did that game was called Final Fantasy 7 or 8, and well, we all know how people feel about 8, and we know how people are starting to feel about 7. So
apparently the writer here works for Vice, which I guess is not surprising.
Yeah, you gotta go ahead and just take that with a grain of salt.
So it says we've seen this in the genre before, though JRPGs often get a pass. Perhaps because American writers use cultural differences and as an excuse for simply don't bother taking these stories very seriously. I'm gonna get a hate speech strike right here, but I think this is hilarious for her to say, given that these are the people that will use cultural differences to excuse the behavior of certain religions. Like absolutely no self-awareness.
Not only certain religions, but the culture in which this storyline was written. Because they'll complain about anime all day, but they won't really want it to change too much, because then that's a problem. So they want it to conform to their beliefs, but at the same time they don't, because then that makes it too banal.
Well, it has to conform to their moral standards,
of which they have none.
Right, the pseudo moral standards. But I'm tired of excuses for why we should ignore this bullshit. Oh boy. To its credit, Octopath Traveler does have an even gender split. Oh, we got a diversity quota among its 8 heroes. But the portrayal...
Take a shot. Every time you see one of those, just go ahead and take a shot.
But the portrayal of the women is a noticeable regression from JRPGs with solid women protagonists. Consider Final Fantasy VI's Terra and Celis, Trails in the Sky,
Whoa.
There it is.
These were the same people who, like, a year ago acted like none of those characters
existed?
ever existed.
Yeah.
Now, that is a 24-year-old game. We have been talking about specifically the character of Terra, but I like Celis as well.
Well, don't you think it's interesting how earlier on in this post she says bygone era, then says noticeable regression right here, and then references games that are way older?
Right.
So which is it?
And
Are games from the past problematic or are they good?
well, of course they're good, but well, maybe not the one I'm currently playing, but
Cloudstar
certainly.
got a super chat here for your comment. He said, "Dude, I just started doing my first Let's Play of Saga Frontier 2 because Octopath reminded me of that game. That's creepy that you brought that up." Yeah, because he just got here when you said that, I think.
Oh well, I haven't finished it all the way. I'm probably going to start over again, but I finally bought it like 2 years ago. The Square Millennium Edition, for those of you that remember that whole thing. And yes, it's a very different experience, and I do see a lot of similarities with that. And Octopath Traveler, I think, it is a game that got a lot of undeserved hate, and I hate using the term hate in this context, but I think it was unnecessarily reviled back in the day because when I look at it, it is almost like a hidden gem because of how it was treated back in the day. So I recommend it for those of you that are used to the cliche JRPG stories and think that they can't ever just do kind of self-contained vignettes and whatnot. I
Yeah.
highly
I
recommend
mean,
that.
I think it does. I think it does it well. I think that it goes. People were kind of complaining about the lack of crossover in the character stories, and I guess there is some argument to be made there, like, oh, why are these people traveling with each other or whatever. But I think they really wrote out, pretty well thought out stories, and like the character depth within their own stories appears to be pretty good as far as I can, in my opinion, I guess I'll say. So it says, it is perhaps the wasted potential of Octopath's female protagonists, whose stories somehow always manage to revolve around the men in their lives. That makes the game's casual misogyny feel like such a slap in the face. I love this. Casual misogyny.
I mean, what
Today
should
and other
be?
made-up terms.
Yeah.
But how else would they write a story that would be believable or something from that era that they're from?
Funny thing about that. So I remember a long time ago, I was in high school and I spent a lot of time around feminists, and I've mentioned it many times before. So there was one time when we had an exercise, I think, in an English class, and we were going over, I think, around the Renaissance times. They were trying to tell a story, a fictional story, but kind of historical fiction, and they were doing it based on like a married couple that was living there. And it was obviously written to modern sensitivities because it was like there was a time when I think the female character said the wife said something that I we assume in those times she probably would have gotten slapped for, and it was like, and the husband made like a little casual jab to her chin while they both laughed, and the feminists that I sat with, they like, you couldn't see them roll their eyes any harder, saying like, that's so unrealistic, and that they were always abused and blah blah blah. So it's like, even if they try to do it the way this author is claiming that they should have done it, they would have found something to complain about if they did it that way.
Yeah. So let's run through the very basic plot elements from Primrose's opening chapter, which, by the way, I think was a very strong opening because that's
I
the
did.
character that I chose. Primrose's origin story begins with shades of Arya Stark. If Arya chose to become a sex worker instead of an assassin, and her entire personality revolved around A, being like really hot, and B, whoring for daddy. I don't think that's like such an oversimplification. You discover like within the first chapter before it ends that she's basically putting on an act so that she can get closer to her father's killer.
So, in other words, we're going to file this under I didn't play the game.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Or at least didn't comprehend, because they have screenshots here, so maybe she just went to somebody's Let's Play.
Yeah, she probably found somebody else that had screenshots and said, "Hey, this will work for my article."
Yeah. After surviving her noble father's assassination, Lady Primrose went into hiding as a tavern's prize dancer. She and the other dancers are regularly beaten, starved, and raped by their master. Yet Primrose is only motivated into leaving these abhorrently abusive conditions when one of the men who killed her father happens to walk in. Well, I mean, you have to have a starting point somewhere.
Let's see, somebody that she has a paternal relationship with, and random people she just saw. Now, random people getting abused may be a bad thing. She can look at that and say that's a bad thing, but if if it's a parent or some family member that's going to be hurt, that's probably going to push her over the edge a little bit more than just random person that I met today.
It's just, it's really silly. Inexplicably, the townsfolk make jokes about the dancers getting raped and lusting for the private viewings. I don't know if I saw any rape jokes
I don't think so either.
that their master forces them to do for him at night, if you know what I mean. I saw this what's his face there, Helganish or whatever his name was. He definitely made like implied comments towards her, but that was supposed to set up like just how much of a creep the guy is, and like that way it's really really satisfying when you see him die.
And this just in, bad guys do bad things.
Yeah, you think? All of these ordeals.
You're not supposed to like bad guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if they understand how fiction works, but if there's a good guy, bad guy scenario, you're not supposed to like the bad guy.
Well, now the question comes in is if it was a female villain, then would they feel the same way about this? Because then it's other, like, then it would be a rich white woman oppressing other women, poor.
But then it would win LGBT points, but it would also lose LGBT points because it implies that that LGBT people are oppressors, or that they or that they assault people.
So we're just going to, we just need to choose the mental gymnastics stage that we're at then. Okay.
Yeah, well, the gay Olympics is this week, so.
Yeah, jeez. All of these ordeals don't seem to hinder Primrose at all, as she flirtatiously uses her special skill of seducing people into following her with a dance. In fact, the trauma of the place that taught her to dance appears completely divorced from all the fun she has using her sexuality as her main weapon and contribution to the team.
I don't think that to somebody like that, I don't think she's considering that fun.
Yeah. I haven't written characters in a long time, but I'm under the impression that a character like that is using it as a means to an end. Like, if I act this way, I can get closer to what I want and my goal. Imagine that's kind of a conflict So this gets even better with just how far the misunderstanding goes. So it says this results in jarring scenes where 1 minute her master is beating her, calling her pet names like kitten, telling her where she should put her mouth, which was funny, by the way, threatening to rape and kill her unless she finds more patrons, only for Primrose to saunter outside and obey by performing an adorable, winky, coy dance animation for a man on the street. It's almost like when you're being abused and like forced into a certain lifestyle, you play it up. I'm all for sexual empowerment or reclaiming what was once traumatizing for yourself, but this isn't what that looks like. No, it looks to me. I picked it up as it was a calculated effort to, put on a front and strike when the time was right. That's what I got out of it. And if you play through the chapter, that's exactly what you get.
Which is the case of many stories that are written this way, playing up a situation until you can take advantage of that. I mean, the only I can think of offhand is from Star Trek Enterprise, but it was the exact same thing. It was a woman who was playing both sides until she could take control of the Enterprise, and therefore she used people exactly the way that Primrose would be here, except she was considered more of a bad guy than probably Primrose is. But guess what? All of this is called character development. Once upon a time when people wrote characters, they developed them, and that was how they would do that. That's how you would figure out the kind of personality that somebody like that has. Somebody that might think, well, the journey to get there, the journey to get there is justified by the end result.
Right. This kind of careless mishandling of Primrose is a result of writers who want to use women's trauma to give a thin character some semblance of personality or depth, but her trauma is conveniently forgotten about for lighthearted moments when Primrose needs to be the fun, sexy one, which, oh boy, this is so stupid. At one point in chapter 2 of her story, she gives a little hee-hee giggle while talking about the things that used to happen at the tavern. Nope. Youthful beauty and male masters seem to be prerequisites for the women heroes. Oh boy, here we go. Throughout Octopath, sex workers and sex slaves are routinely murdered and used as background props. So, I mean, as far as I know, sex slaves are not treated very well in real life, hence the term slave. A creepy undercurrent of daddy-daughter dynamics runs through most of them, so I guess you have Shoe on Head and Armored Skeptic in there. One scene encapsulates the
Yeah,
weirdly...
I do remember seeing a fat enemy that you had to fight.
Yeah, we cut his throat, though. One scene encapsulates the weirdly fetishistic... That's such a weird word. Fetishistic vibes embedded into Octopath's depictions of fathers and daughters. So this scene was pretty dark, and of course it's misrepresented. A father goes to a pimp with the sob story of how his daughter killed herself after being raped. But he's not grieving for her, he's grieving for himself for the loss of having a little girl to dress up like his living, incestuous sex doll. He's elated to be given a sex slave in direct replacement for his sullied, dead daughter. I mean, what the actual fuck? Octopath Traveler. So this scene was specifically to show just how dark and messed up, like, the black market was, and that there was corruption going on, at least to some degree, within the church, because this Rufus guy was using him to, get whatever it is that he was getting out of them, information. Absolutely ridiculous to misunderstand it like that. It's not like it's promoting this behavior. It's showing you just how awful these people are.
So I have a question. How are these people writers if they can't comprehend a written work of fiction?
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how people don't really get this.
Because everything is sexist, everything is misogynistic. I mean, didn't you hear the wonderful message Anita put out for everybody?
Is this weeb shit?
I did until Plipster privated his video.
Oh.
Oh no. This absurd scene goes completely unaddressed. No, it doesn't, as if it's not the most messed up shit you've ever seen in your goddamn life, but it tracks with the countless other inexplicable instances of infantilizing, sexually charged scenes between father figures and young girls, and it's hard to even justify this portrayal of trauma as lazy world-building to convey Octopath's gritty, cruel vision of society, because it's pretty much exclusive to Primrose's story, and it's entirely inconsistent with the comparatively rosy world experienced by every other character. Yeah,
not from what I've seen.
No, not really, and it's also like, it's showing, oh boy, I can't deal with these people. They're just so dumb. It's like, how do you explain fiction to someone that just doesn't understand the concept of conflict?
I don't understand how she cannot, because what she's writing is clearly conflicting with her own concept, idea of reality.
They do get it. They're just being purposefully deceitful. I mean, look, that's entirely possible because they love to stir up the drama. I get that, but it's just, it always blows my mind how poorly thought out it is, I guess I would say. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing. They can do that, and then they can make a mistake, and then
this
they
is
can kind of sweep that under the rug.
This next paragraph is amazing because it's like directly written to us.
Oh boy.
I can already hear the actually excuse that all of this is the game trying to show how only bad, evil men objectify women or reduce them to a Madonna/horror dichotomy or value them based on their purity, appearance, or relationships with men. I'd be more willing to suspend my disbelief if the game didn't do all of those things to its other female characters. So
But
you're
that's
going to
a part of the
defeat
world.
the argument by presenting a completely reasonable argument that makes sense as though it's absurd.
Without really explaining how it's absurd, I might add.
She complained just a second ago about world building and how terrible it was. But if it's happening to other female characters, then isn't the world being built that way?
Unless the dancer was a Mary Sue who makes the characters not acknowledge their white privilege, then Octopath is racist. Yeah, that's probably true. Alright, so whether or not it knows it, Octopath Traveler perpetuates the same vile treatment of women as the villains it tries to condemn. The notion that women would rather die than live with the shame of rape or sex work is a sentiment put into the mouth of a so-called ruined women. Okay, of so-called ruined women, and nobody contradicts these characters. The game does little to disavow its audience of the belief that, on some level, it's true. Okay, it was a priest's daughter. Do you not understand the connection there? But I forgot, like anything that is remotely traditional or religious is instantly painted as bad, so it's unacceptable.
There you go.
The
I
physics.
disavow.
Well, clearly this person has daddy issues. So
What
she
game
can't-
disavows anything? It's there to just tell a story. This is retarded.
Well, Chrono Cross disavows the notion of quality writing.
Ooh. The physical beauty of 3 out of 4 of the women protagonists is referenced throughout. It's remarked on whenever Primrose is on screen. Gee, I wonder why. Tressa's Captain Savior focuses on it when they meet. No, he doesn't. He focuses on the fact that he sees promise in her abilities as a merchant, you absolute jackass. The religious Ophelia's own father figure feels the need to praise it in his daughters. Wow, parents complimenting their children? Insane. These people should know all about that since they want to give kids blind praise and participation trophies. Let's see. On the daddy front, there are just a few too many instances of women's fathers serving as a replacement for their own character motivation. Ophelia and Liana's story is so ludicrously centered around their paternal figure that Liana betrays Ophelia on the off chance that some dude might bring him back from the dead. Well, I mean, her dad is dying, obviously. That would push anybody into behavior that's out of character. Or to summarize the sentiment passed between them in the screenshots below, women be crazy and stupid. So she just says, it is as you say, we are both ignorant, naive girls. I mean, they're pretty young, so is it so far-fetched to think that they may still be naive to some degree?
Does she know that this game takes place, like, a long time ago?
Yeah, it's like a fantasy, medieval type setting.
I'm just, like, she's trying to make it sound like it's, like, today that the
Well,
game
that's
takes place.
that's my issue with all of this kind of stuff is like they always try to hold it to real world standards while at the same time arguing that, oh, when you guys use the realism argument, it's just to be racist or sexist. So like, which one do you want? Now, to be fair, I have seen that argument kind of pop in from both sides of the argument, but it always seems to be that they try to justify the dumbest stuff and then try to hold it to a real world standard when obviously this takes place in its own world. Maybe this focus on their youth, appearances, and fathers wouldn't feel so gross if it happened to literally any of the male characters, but it doesn't. Youthful beauty and male masters only seem to be prerequisites for the women heroes of Octopath Traveler. I mean, you have a male character that is obsessed with the fact that his friend betrayed him. Actually, you have that in 2 stories, but in one of them it's resolved before his final chapter. So you're kind of, again, it's like, have you played through most of this? I haven't even played through the majority of it. I mean, I'm 45 hours in maybe, and
Yeah.
I only have like 2 characters at chapter 4. 1 at chapter 3, maybe 2 at chapter 3, and then the rest they got to do their chapter 2s, I think. Infantilization, frailty, and male superiors are traits so ubiquitous to the women of Octopath Traveler that it goes beyond just protagonists. Even Cyrus's story begins with 2 female students fighting each other over his attention. He's forced to leave the school to spare the princess involved in any social destitution from the mere hint that she might be impure. No, it's the idea that a princess would be having a relationship with her professor, who is not only not royalty, but clearly older than her. And the other girl, even though the relationship he has with the princess is one of like mentor and student, the other girl is jealous because she's the one that actually has feelings for him. I can't believe it to sit here and like explain a video game as though it's reality.
You have to mansplain the game.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Devsplain. Gotta devsplain it.
We don't hear anything about how that princess feels about all of it, since Octopath is in no way concerned with how women feel in general, even though like the stories are driven by the characters' emotions and their goals. But it's emblematic of another funny characteristic all the women in this game share. Female friendships end with death, despair, or schisms born from their obsession with a man. Oh, geez. That's not true again.
I was like, they're not... what? I'm pretty sure that that's not how all of that game goes.
No, she rescues... okay, arguably yes. Primrose, her friend from the tavern, dies, but then in the next
Sad.
chapter, she rescues the woman that she grew up with in her house when her father was still alive and frees her. So to say all the friends die and that's just not right. So it says coded into the gameplay itself. Gender
Oh,
problems.
yeah. The developers literally coded in a social and cognitive thing. They didn't just put code in that as a game engine. They literally programmed in sexism. There you go. For all software I write from now on, I'm gonna literally code in sexism.
There we go. Then there's the gender divide embedded into the combat mechanics, specifically the job classes and special skills attributed to each character. Though you will eventually unlock secondary classes, by default the men are a warrior, apothecary, scholar, and a thief. The women are a dancer, or as the game describes, a whore. No, not everybody calls her that. That's so stupid. Cleric, the picture of a pure virginal feminine servitude. I mean, she is basically a nun. And a merchant. I don't see how a merchant is offensive for a woman. Like, even going by their standards, like, I don't... Me personally, I don't see any of these as offensive, but if we were to go by their logic, I don't know how merchant is offensive. The most empowering female character is by far the hunter, though notably, I don't know how to say her name. Is it like Hanit? Falls into the trap of having her motivations tied exclusively to find her missing master, a man clearly less competent than her, yet somehow still her superior. Primrose and Ophelia are the only two characters whose predominant special skills is to call in someone more powerful than... No, that's bullshit. All of the people that I have used the guide and allure skills to draw in for, like, to summon during battle, they've been way weaker. In fact, it's almost been worthless to have them there. The only time I will actually do it is if the enemy has their shield up and I know that their attack will just add like an extra hit to their shield. But they're not stronger. They're like almost always very, very weak. Let's see. Tressa also has a summoning ability tied to her job. And Anit's hunter skill lets her summon animals. Okay, what's bad about that? Again, I'd be willing to overlook this if any of the male characters' special skills were all tied to summoning others for help, but their abilities are all markedly more self-sufficient and grounded in raw power, competence, and intelligence. The men get to challenge people to sword battles, glean useful information, steal valuable items, and concoct potions. Apparently stealing is seen as something to strive for now.
That's empowering.
Okay.
I honestly don't... this is silly to me just because I think that I think that like Primrose is probably my personal favorite character because there's so many... I feel like I found like the perfect character builds for her, but maybe I'm just imagining things and it's actually just my love of misogyny that's taking over. Don't get me wrong, these issues don't originate with and are not exclusive to Octopath Traveler. They're grounded in the mechanics and stories of many role-playing games of the past, as well as a deep-seated misogyny buried in us all.
Name three.
They can't. But the problem that I find here is, like, they just want to say men and women are the same, so any difference that they can point to, they will just call misogyny rather than any kind of potential, rational reason or reason that makes sense for the world or story. But that doesn't mean the shitty sidelining of women. How can 4 main characters be women and they're still sidelined?
Oh, because they said so in this great article.
We've heard the arguments justifying these reductive depictions of women in these kind of games already. Oh, here we go. They mostly come down to historical accuracy or the excuse of archetypal characters. You mean like the basis for storytelling? Like archetypes are so important. As far as historical accuracy goes, it's odd that the fantasy genre, literally defined by its deviation from reality, necessitates treating women like garbage in order to make worlds with magic and dragons more believable. The archetypal defense might have more grounds if it didn't seem to conflate... Oh, by the way, I'm correcting myself many, many sentences that have errors. If it didn't seem to conflate archetypes with tropes. Archetypes are prototypical characteristics and traits that date back to the traditions of oral storytelling. A trope, on the other hand, is a cliche inherited by pop culture, that writers fall back on instead of creating anything remotely nuanced or original. You have to be insane to believe that tropes were invented by pop culture, like modern pop culture.
Oh my, this one's hurting you.
Shakespeare never happened. Like, come on, dude. Get out of here. Archetypes are... Okay, I've read that part. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand this article. No. Most of Octopath's characters and stories are unoriginal, with fewer dimensions than its pixelated art style. Ooh, burn. But the male cliches are infinitely more empowering and at least tied to their own individual interests, desires, and passions rather than perpetuated by a father figure. Well, you could argue that at least 2 of the male stories are driven by a brotherly figure.
Yes.
So, I mean, get out of town. By the end of Primrose's story, the game seems oddly self-aware that it gave her absolutely zero character motivation or personality outside her father. By the way, her mom's barely mentioned as usual. She climactically goes to her father's grave, and oh boy, now I'm getting, like, spoiled here, I guess. And all but shrugs because now that daddy's been avenged, she has no idea who she is or what she even wants. Wow, it's almost like when you live a lie your entire life, you have to kind of find yourself.
Or when you dedicate yourself to one singular task,
Yeah.
and you've completed that task, you now feel like you have done nothing. You have nothing else to do. This is not unique to women. There are definitely stories with men. I can't think of them right now, but there are definitely stories with men in there where they dedicated themselves to this one singular task, and then when they were faced with the ability to do something about it, they're just like, why am I even doing this? I don't even know why I'm angry anymore.
We're about to, and that happened in one of the male characters' stories, but I guess we can just ignore that and pretend they're all empowering, fantasies for men and there's no struggle. So let me just finish this up because there's like 3 paragraphs max. But sure, for the sake of argument, let's say this bullshit is just how fantasy works and compare Octopath Traveler to another modern fantasy story that dives into a multitude of different characters' perspectives. Don't do it, don't do it. The TV adaptation of Game of Thrones might also get criticized for using rape as a plot device while negating the trauma of women, but the books don't, instead bringing readers into the minds of archetypal women as they seek power and survival within an oppressive patriarchal society. And lo and behold...
Of course. So what this means is I've already devoted myself to loving Game of Thrones that I'm going to give it a pass for anything it does.
Yeah, justify
Even though I consider it to be garbage, it's not because I like it. I watch it. I binge watch it, so it's not a bad story.
It results in women treated as actual people rather than someone's concept of a woman. Yeah, not from the things I've heard, but okay, pal. Women don't have to be portrayed this way in Octopath or in any other game and fantasy setting. We just have to care enough to demand better and then do better. Well, good luck demanding from Japan. That's just... You gotta be kidding me. Stardust Ray, $2. They just want to be men, for fuck's sake. So much cursing. Can she write without so much? Probably not. I guess she probably feels like it makes her sound angry and edgy and whatnot, but
It shows she's breaking gender norms.
Yeah, there you go. Women can be edgy too.
Like, I don't know why people from Mashable or Polygon or even Kotaku, whenever they only kind of have an issue with Japanese games particularly. Like, I know
because
that
they can't control them for the most part. I will say that some end up like caving when it comes to localization, but for the most part, they can't control them.
Usually the way they cave is just not to release it.
Yeah, Western developers seem to be more in their pocket, and they'll try to pander to what the journalists present as the majority wanting. And that's my problem with it, is like, most people don't want that crap. Most people just want good stories and good characters. It doesn't matter what those characters happen to be, but don't make their identity the focus of what they are. Because you want to talk about uninteresting and uninspired, boy, point to any of the social justice-y characters that people like, and I'll show you something with no character.
I'll show you a one-dimensional character.
Well, it's like just the thing with Dead or Alive 6. They had that live stream during Evo. No one watched it because,
Yeah,
as you
everyone
know,
was pissed.
yeah, because they took out a lot of elements of the game that made it good. Not even just like the fan service part, because like who really cares at this point? But it's just the fighting mechanics have changed. Like they just changed like for some reason, and then they kind of like
Supposedly it
just
was to
stood
cater
behind it.
to like the fighting game tournaments, right? Competitive shit, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be more esports focused.
I hate that. I don't like that because if you have to like change the way your core game was, you're killing off your fan base just for some tournament.
Hmm.
And who's gonna play it? I mean, maybe you'll bring in new people, but I don't. I think it's a very different audience.
But mark my words. You guys are talking about Octopath Traveler now. Wait 1 month.
It's Dragon Quest XI is next on
Yeah,
this list, right?
because they've already started on that. So give it 1 month. I already know all the complaints that they're gonna go through just playing through the game.
Well, we're gonna play that on Twitch next, so hopefully I can finish Octopath before this month is up. I don't know. That seems like a pretty big task, but I'm gonna try. Well, that brings us to the end of this ridiculous article. I'm sure.
To this magnum opus.
Yes, I dread if they were to get to the Japanese game market, not just because it'd be easier, notwithstanding the language barrier in the whole Pacific Ocean. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll ever happen on a large scale. I think if it was going to, it probably would have by now with how hard everybody's complaining lately. I think you'll see it happen here and there. Like you could argue Team Ninja or whatever caved in a sense. But some people are speculating that they'll just put it back in via DLC and it'll just be optional like it always was anyway. Dragon Quest for real? What the fuck?
This article was more put together than the one I read last night.
Oh, you did the anime thing is like for right wingers or something, right? It was like the basis of it. I don't know if that was
yeah,
exact, but
it was like manga to manga, like how like anime is like great for the people on the right or something like that. It was awful. I don't even want to look it up.
It's so terrible.
It's funny because when I was into all of that, people on the right were like, "Oh, why are you watching that bag of Japanese stuff?"
Yeah, that's what it used to be. Like, that's exactly the attitude that it used to be. And now it's considered cool, and everybody wants to control it. The same people that hated it back then.
Same thing with video games and comics.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That drives me up the wall. It's like you guys were the same people that bullied kids that were in on the hobby way back then, and now you want to pretend that you always loved it, and the original fan base are the ones that are hateful. Get out of here. That's why you have these divides, because they don't just come in and enjoy the hobby. They come in and they want to control it and put in a specific narrative that has no place in it.
By the way, I found it. It is Manga Through Manga: How Japanese Media Have Fueled the Western Right.
All right, if you want to link it, okay, you did link it. I'm gonna bring it up.
It's a real reader.
I don't think we're gonna go through the whole thing because we are coming
The
on.
picture in itself is great.
Yeah, it's like Trump with
Yes.
with Super Saiyan Blue 3 hair. Why does he have?
Yeah. I don't know who made it.
Oh, this is terrible. So bad.
This is Trump in a way I've never seen.
Who wrote
before.
this? Peter Cattle. Yeah, because he's hurting all the cattle that listen to this.
Apparently,
Probably is the size of one.
Yeah, it's not spelled as the cows, but for the purposes of the joke, people, before I get criticized for not knowing how to fucking spell. Maga through manga, or manga, I guess would be the proper. How Japanese media fueled the Western. Come on, it has nothing to do with it. No wonder when Western media are slaves to the left. Wait, what side is this guy on? Is he just like?
I think he's on the right side, but like the way that he words a lot of things are kind of like incorrect, and it like takes some weird twist.
So, I guess maybe this is like the what is this Mercatornet or something. I don't know. Like maybe this is their Mashable article.
I mean, it's apparently like really like for the people on the right more than it is for the people on the
All right,
left.
let's get a vote, I guess. Do you guys want us to read it, or should we wrap
one in
up?
the chat.
Yeah, there you go. He's trolling. Somebody says he's trolling.
I think if it is,
I mean, it could be. You never know anymore.
You get some stuff in there. Two editors read over this, but it still has like a lot of typos in it.
Oh, jeez, man, it seemed well.
So it probably is a troll, and I love it though. The picture just gets me.
All right, well, let's go. So it says, God have mercy on us all, but the truth can no longer be denied. Anime has become the spearhead of a major cultural shift. This terrifying phenomenon has been seen in the politically secular mainstream quite a bit recently. Prime example is professional weirdo Kim Kardashian, who seems to have acquired an appreciation for some of the stylistic elements of these peculiar Asian cartoons. Well, that's what a way to word that. How has this ridiculous shift affected our politics? It hasn't. The mainstream may be a little apprehensive of the medium, viewing it as something for degenerate basement dwellers, but certain fringes of the right have embraced it and have long since begun using it for political purposes. Or is he like referencing the memes?
Yeah, and he gets to that in this next paragraph.
What is the draw of this particular medium? Why do so many people on the right love it so much? So I'm just gonna look, even if this isn't serious, I'm gonna kind of answer this in my opinion. I think it's because you don't get the Western politics inserted into it, so it's more interesting. It's whether you want to argue whether or not there's a bunch of garbage anime, and sure there is a lot to sift through that's not good, but it all has, it's not all political garbage. There's no shoehorned political nonsense that just feels out of place.
If you're watching a localized version,
yeah, that's the only time when they do that. To find out, let's look back to the year of Trump's victory. Pepe was the big meme of 2016. Pepe anime. There is no doubt regarding that. However, while Pepe was off doing a great job of triggering Hillary and her supposedly egalitarian acolytes, the egalitarian acolytes, I like that name. Pictures of anime girls wearing MAGA hats were putting in work behind the scenes, bringing people to the right-wing cause through the awesome power of Moe. I have the Haruhi one. Well, I posted it to one of the Funimation voice actors. He didn't block me, though. While this strange phenomenon didn't attract the attention of the mainstream press, it didn't go totally unnoticed either. Many internet denizens were asking the strange question of why anime had begun to be linked with the right. Even more unusual, it was the internet rag BuzzFeed of all places that gave the most credible answer, blaming it mainly on 2channel, the most prominent Japanese online image board, and the Japanese right. But again, I think it's just like a social media perception, because you have a lot of the people on the so-called left that happen to find so many different aspects of media problematic. So of course the people that are less offended by stuff are going to watch and enjoy things that arguably have more offensive content. Like that's just, it's not political, it's more of a emotional thing that happens to be, it could be presented as political if you ignore, what it's really rooted in. BuzzFeed reporter Ryan Broderick suggested that the 2channel internet trolling community, Neto Uyoku, ended up inspiring the much more influential 4chan, which simply took up anime as an aesthetic tool to be used mematically. What? Where do these... That's a new one. While there is definitely a lot to be said for this explanation, I think there's a little more to it. Well, come on, give us your thesis here. There is something inherent to some Japanese media which has tugged at the very soul of the West. Let's face it, right now, Hollywood is awful. Leaving aside all the scandals, all it does is spew out sequel after sequel for mainstream audiences, don't forget remakes, and then hosts the occasional SJW fest for critics who have totally lost touch with the audience. In fact, Western cinema and television production have stagnated completely. Want proof? Compare last year in cinema to the year 1980. In 1980, we had The Empire Strikes Back, Airplane, and The Shining. In 2017, We had a mishmash of Marvel movies and a Star Wars sequel so terrible even its diehard fans admitted it was absolutely dreadful. Soy Wars. The television department isn't much better either. Game of Thrones has suffered terribly since departing from the plot of the books, and shows like Westworld and Stranger Things have relied so heavily on media generated years before that it just doesn't feel like a product of the modern world. Compare all this to the heavy hitters of 1980, MASH, The Dukes of Hazzard, which is not allowed on TV anymore, and Dallas, even to this day. All these shows are major household names. Will people be talking about Stranger Things in 30 years' time? I doubt it.
Hopefully not.
No, probably not. Western politics is stuck in a slave morality right now, and the media made for the masses reflects this. Film today is often poorly written, politically correct, virtue-signaling garbage that pushes leftist talking points at the expense of a good story, which we kind of got into in the last article. Although I'm not happy with this state of affairs, I do admit it makes logical sense considering that a society's media is often made by those with power over said society. Currently, the left has power, so the left control the media. In Japan, it's a different story. With Nippon Kaigi, Japanese hardline nationalist group, member Shinzo Abe as prime minister, it is the proudly Japanese right that currently holds sway over the hearts and minds of the Japanese people. As such, I think this is where I caught you reading it, Necro, last night.
Probably.
As such, their media is also right-wing, and although anime is a much more underground, contrarian medium within Japanese society, it does share many of the basic assumptions of the mainstream Japanese. It's often pro-nationalist, pro-ethnic, homogeneity. Wow, I fucked that up. But anyway, and almost exclusively anti-feminist, especially with regard to the movement's third and fourth wave. Okay, are they seriously trying to argue that there's like anti-feminist talking points inserted in anime?
That's the part where I was like, this can't be real, because it starts to make these weird twists at this point. This
is where I feel like this is sort of the reverse of what the social justice side does. So like if this guy is serious, which I'm doubting, I don't know though. You could argue that he's basically inserting his own political ideals, kind of projecting them onto anime and saying, well, I see this in this media, much in the same way that you have the people like in the last article saying things like, well, I see this and it's problematic. It's exploiting women or whatever. It is therefore not surprising that the Western right loves anime, one of the few mediums left that actually pushes traditional values. Oh yes, the traditional value of marrying a dragon woman. Anime is filled with ethnically Japanese people. Okay, come on now. Living culturally Japanese lives. There's so many, there's a lot of high school anime, obviously. It takes place in Japan. But there's also, so many fantasy ones that take place in, alternate history settings or completely made up ones. To say that is just
Japan.
Yeah, to say that is just to conflate it and make an oversimplification. More importantly, Westerners are often given the same treatment, depicted as blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and frequently presented in some idealized, almost mythical setting. Shows often take inspiration from some of the best and most obscure of Western mythology, meaning that the Japanese can acquire a better understanding of the myths and legends of the ancient West than most Westerners do. I don't know about that, but I have seen them kind of take very popular mythological stories and put really cool spins on them. So I do think they have a lot of creativity when it comes to that stuff. Lastly, the nature of anime is that of perfection. It typically tries to present the perfect human form on screen, and not the more imperfect form of it we find in everyday life. Like in the West with the obesity epidemic, I guess. Boys in anime are often tough.
Just one android short.
Yeah. And have indomitable spirits, while girls are depicted as attractive, capable, and caring creatures. Sometimes. Men are often courageous heroes or cunning villains, and women tend to be either pure maidens, diligent mothers, or wizened crones. That's, again, way too simplified. It is a strangely idealized version of humanity, some aspects of which the right likes to encourage and strives for. As such, it is totally unsurprising to me that we are seeing more and more anime memes from the right these days. I think it's just because they're funny. That's it. Anime itself is a highly captivating niche that is helping to drive the right-wing political machine. For those on the right, it is also encouraging to see that there are nations like Japan where nationalist thinking is not only mainstream but successful in building a modern society. Like there's arguments to be made like against that. Look, I'm not against the whole like, you know, keep your society yours or whatever, but there are some problems. Let's not pretend. Watching anime provides a morale boost to the Western right since it reminds us of the fact that we are not alone in our thinking. It is much easier to stand for good if you know that someone else is standing with you. This is really strange.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
I somehow doubt they're standing with you. I'm no Japan expert.
Yeah, I this is not this is not even reality. I don't like this kind of thinking in the same way that I don't like it when the social justice-y side does it, because what you're effectively doing is you're co-opting somebody else's creation for your political ideals, and I just think that's silly. Like, I don't have a problem with people doing the MAGA hat anime girls. That shit's funny, but this, if this is serious, no, just no. It's entertainment. It's not that deep. I mean, yeah, there are some deep stories out there, but it's not going to be political in the Western sense if there's any politics at all. That's just ridiculous. This sounds like some weeb level explaining. Japan needs to put minorities in their animes as protagonists. See, that's one of the stupid arguments that I see, is that, like, they're not diverse enough, or all anime characters are white. They're not white. Like, for one, if it's the Japanese high school setting, they're obviously Japanese kids. And if it's some fantasy world, how do you even know what the races are? It's absolutely ridiculous to just be like, oh yeah, they're European. Well, does it take place in the real world? No. It's like when they call Link a white man. Those damn white men and their pointy ears.
Well, they don't even know what European looks. You know, as much as I hate to bring this game up, you know Renoa from Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
Okay, many Westerners think she looks Asian, but Tetsuya Nomura, the artist behind that character, thinks she looks European, or he designed her to look European.
I mean, I don't know if I would say that, but does she have blue eyes?
No, not that I remember.
I don't remember.
She had what looked like black or brown hair and black or brown eyes.
Yeah, it's literally all fake. Link is Hylian. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Link is an elf. Elves are enemies of all humans. That's the echoing elf. That's the most dangerous kind.
Since Link is a Hylian, I wonder nationalism right there in Ocarina of Time.
The shit up here, I went through everything that I had planned and a little bit more. It's been a good time. Appreciate all the new subscribers. Appreciate the super chats and the support. So I'm not sure when I'll do another one of these again, but I believe Killstream is going to be picking up here Monday, unless they hear from YouTube. So that's that. All right, guys. Thanks, and have a good evening.